All right, today we're jumping into one of the most incredible stories of enlightenment you'll ever come across. It's just one chapter from this massive text called the Avatamsaka Sutra, but wow, it's a whole epic in itself. It's about a journey that never ends, a search for truth that spans eons, and a vision that literally stretches the fabric of reality.
So let me just start with this question. What if you could look at a single, tiny speck of dust and see an entire universe inside it? I'm talking worlds being born, worlds dying, all right there. This isn't just some trippy philosophical idea. It's the actual vision at the very heart of the story we're getting into today.
So the person leading us on this adventure is a young guy named Sudhana. He's not a prince, not a hero in the typical sense. He's a pilgrim. And his whole life is about walking from one teacher to the next, trying to figure out what it truly means to be a bodhisattva. Someone who's all in on achieving enlightenment, not just for themselves, but for every single being out there.
Okay, so a pilgrim search. We catch up with Sudhana just as he's been sent on to his next teacher. And this one is a mysterious night goddess whose name translates to something like wondrous sound that saves all beings. He is laser-focused on finding her. And you know what? He finds her. Just try to picture this scene. In the deep of night, she appears, and her entire body is just radiant. It's covered in all these auspicious signs that show just how spiritually realized she is. She's majestic, totally otherworldly. This is who he's been looking for. So now we get to the goddess's cosmic vision. This meeting is the turning point of everything. This isn't going to be a simple chat. The goddess is about to show Sudhana the true scale of her power, and it's going to change him forever.
And then this happens. A brilliant beam of light shoots out from between her eyebrows. You know, that classic spot symbolizing deep spiritual insight. But it doesn't just shine on Sudhana. It literally enters him, filling every cell, every part of his body, and it completely rewires his perception of reality.
And in that instant, Sudhana's mind just explodes. He sees it all. In every single particle of existence, he sees infinite worlds being born and dying. He sees all the different realms, the heavens, the hells, everything in between, and sees that they're all connected. And in every single one of those places, at all times, he sees her, the goddess, actively saving beings from every kind of suffering you could possibly imagine.
And this isn't some abstract power we're talking about. He sees her getting right down into the details, helping people with their deepest fears. The fear of death, the fear of a bad afterlife, the fear of losing their way and doing the wrong thing. Her compassion is cosmic, for sure, but it touches every single individual life.
So, as you can imagine, Sudhana is just floored. This vision is so far beyond anything he could have possibly conceived. And when he can finally speak, he asks the only question that matters. How? How did you do this? How did you achieve this kind of liberation? And that question pivots the whole story.
And this leads us to a princess's great vow. In response, the goddess starts to tell her origin story. And it doesn't start with her as some divine being. No, it started eons and eons ago, in another world entirely, back when she was just a mortal princess.
So picture this, an ancient, wealthy kingdom where everybody had become, well, a little arrogant. They were obsessed with their own beauty and success. But then, one day, the great bodhisattva Samantabhadra shows up, and his spiritual radiance, his inner light, was so powerful it made everything else look dull. And in that kingdom, a young princess saw him, and in that one moment, she was so humbled and inspired that she made a vow that would shape the rest of her existence forever.
This princess, and her name is a mouthful. It translates to something like wisdom flame luminous eye. She has this profound awakening. The moment she sees the bodhisattva's pure, enlightened presence, it just shatters her whole worldview and sparks this deep, unshakable spiritual goal inside her.
And here it is. This is the vow she makes, the very seed of her entire journey. She says, "May I attain a body and wisdom like this great being, to be a light for all those lost in darkness, and may I never be separated from such a wise guide." You see, it's not a wish for herself, it's a promise to become a beacon for others.
So now we're at a journey across lifetimes. Because that one moment, that single, powerful vow, launched her on a path that would stretch across, well, basically forever. This wasn't a one-and-done deal. It was the start of an unimaginably long marathon of practice and service.
And her journey had this clear, repeating pattern. In every single life, she would be reborn in a situation where she could help people. In every single life, she would find and meet the Buddha of that particular era. She would make offerings, she would dive deep into their teachings, and with every lifetime that passed, her wisdom and her compassion just got deeper and deeper.
And what's so cool is the crazy variety of lives she lived. When she was a queen, she served her people. When she was a sea goddess, she offered up priceless jewels from the ocean floor. And in one life, she was even a courtesan, and she used her art, her song and dance, to express her devotion. It just goes to show you that the path can be walked from anywhere, from any station in life. So how long are we talking here? The text says she served a number of Buddhas as countless as all the dust motes in all the lands. I mean, just try to wrap your head around that. We are talking about a timescale that is, for all intents and purposes, infinite. It's a truly mind-bending level of commitment.
And that brings us right back to the present moment. Back to Sadhana standing there in front of her. The goddess just laid out this entire incredible history, showing him how her eons of practice are directly connected to the cosmic power he just witnessed.
Turns out that incredible power Sadhana saw, it has a name. It's called the manifestation of taming all beings in all worlds. And it's the direct result, it's the fruit of all those lifetimes of practice, all stemming from that one single vow she made as a young princess so long ago. And yet, after all that, her humility is just staggering. She says to Sadhana, "I only know this one way." She explains that the paths of true bodhisattvas are as vast and deep as the ocean itself. Even with her incredible power, she sees her own journey as just one path out of an infinite number.
And so, her lesson for Sadhana is complete. But his journey? Oh, it's far from over. The cycle of learning continues. She doesn't claim to be the final answer. Instead, she points him onward to his next teacher, another night goddess called Ocean of Tranquil Sounds, so he can go even deeper.
What this whole story really reveals is something profound. For a bodhisattva, there's no finish line. There is no final destination. There are only new beginnings. Every teacher, every lesson just opens another door, and it leaves you wondering, on an infinite path of wisdom and compassion, where could you possibly go next?